and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and with me today is Bart Irwin, he's the Senior Coordinator for Math, and Gwen Collins, the Senior Coordinator for English. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to have you on the show because it's SOL time, and so you all are going to talk about the math and English SOLs. But first, tell me about testing for both of your subject areas. What are we testing in and what grades?
So mathematics has a standards of learning test, an SOL, in grades 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, algebra, geometry, and algebra 2. So there's 9 different math SOLs. Once the student gets above math 6, they may take a variety of different ones, but there's 9 total.
Wow, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in English, we have 9 SOLs as well. And in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, there is only a reading SOL. And then in 8th grade, the students take a reading SOL and a writing SOL. And in 11th grade, they take a reading SOL and a writing SOL as well.
So is there anything new, Bart, and I'm going to ask you this too, Gwen, with the testing this year?
Yeah, the first new thing for this year is the TestNav 8 interface. The way that the test is going to look for students has changed this year. It is not a dramatic change, but little things like the ruler, the protractor, the tools that the student will see on the screen look a little different this year. And then the bigger change is the style of test, which is called computer adaptive testing, is new this year in grades 4 and 5 in mathematics. We've had it previously in 3, 6, 7, and 8, but it's new in grade 4 and 5.
And how will things look for English?
And for English, TestNav 8 is also different for us. It's just the new launching of the with the interface of the testing program, and then computer adaptive testing as well. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students, the reading test is computer adaptive.
So what is computer adaptive testing?
Computer adaptive testing is a style of assessment where this question that a student receives is based on their performance on the previous question. So it adapts your next question based upon your performance of the previous question. If you got it correct, your next question may be a little bit more difficult. If you got it incorrect, your next question may be a little easier. The material doesn't go above or below the grade level that the student is on, but the style in which the student is questioned is adapted based upon their performance, and their final score, therefore, is also adapted.
Is that the same for English?
It is the same for English, the same way. For computer adaptive for English, though, one of the big differences is that you can't go back. So you have to answer the question because the computer is adjusting as you go.
Right.
And so math is a little bit different than we are with that piece.
So what's the biggest change for students with this process?
What Ms. Collins said is absolutely probably the biggest impact the student will feel is that they can't skip a question, they can't come back and review a question because the rest of their assessment will change based upon their answer to the question. So they have to answer the question in front of them at the time that it's presented, and that's different than they've had. But one of the really positive changes is that computer adaptive testing has let the state use far fewer items to assess a student. So for instance, in 3rd grade, a student used to see 50 items on their 3rd grade SOL, and now they will only see 32 items. So it lets the state cut almost 18 items from the 3rd grade test because of the adaptability of the assessment.
You think this is a greater benefit for the students to do it this way?
That's the hope,
Yes.
and I think so. I think it gives them confidence to see questions that are aligned with their actual level of understanding.
And this is the first year we're doing computer adaptive testing? Or we've done it before?
For mathematics, it's the first time in grade 4 and 5. We have done math 6, 7, 8, and also grade 3.
And for English, it's the first SOL in reading that's been computer adaptive for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And one of our big differences is that the students, you have to answer the question, but within the passage that they're reading, they can go back to only those questions within the passage. And then the test will actually let them know you are leaving this passage. Are you ready to go on to the next one? Because the moment you click submit, you can't go back.
Right, right. Let's look at some sample questions now.
Great.
And I guess, Bart, we'll start with you.
Sure.
With the first question.
So 3 or 4 years ago, we started moving away from an entirely multiple choice assessment. And the question that I brought today is what's called a free response question in mathematics. It lays out the question for the student in a typical format. They give them a table. They ask the student to perform some mathematics, but instead of a multiple choice where the student could estimate or guess around a certain item, this one the student actually has to do all of the computation asked of them and then type in the box at the bottom. They will type in their answer to the question. And that was new 3 or 4 years ago, but they continue to be present on our assessments, and it's a way to get different styles of questions so that it's not all multiple choice.
Okay, Gwen, let's look at one of your sample questions.
Okay. The sample that I brought today is actually a recipe, and I brought that on purpose because I think it's important for us to see that our students have to read all different types of text, and so they are tested on how they can work through something that's functional that they would have to read in their everyday life. So in this test, this is also a technology enhanced item, and so what the students have to do is read the passage. You can't actually see it, but this is a 3-page recipe. So they would have to read the entire recipe, and then they click on one of those 5 answers of where they determine, I think this one is, where would you add lemon juice to the recipe? What step in the recipe? So they have to understand this is a process, understand that there are steps to a recipe, and then they click on the correct answer.
Okay, I think we're ready for some helpful tips for the SOLs, don't you think?
Right. Sure.
What are some websites or things that parents can do to help support their students?
In mathematics, the Virginia Department of Education has a variety of released test items where students can practice if they really want to get some extra practice. Jefferson Lab is a website that is free that's made over in the peninsula that also presents students with some practice items. And the student's teacher can provide more practice items for the student. Ideally, though, we would love for the student to practice by using math in their everyday, that through just kind of talking through numerical things that are encountered in the student's life, whether it's buying things at the store or estimating how much something will cost, that would be the best practice, is using it and applying it to what they're doing.
And in English, it's the same thing. The state has released items for the students to practice with on the website. But I think the best thing that parents can do is have their children read on a daily basis on their own, practice reading different types of things, from recipes to a novel to a comic book, and just getting everyday practice in understanding what you're reading.
Well, thank you both, and I know our students are ready and their parents are going to make sure they're prepared. So thank you both for coming on the show today to talk about our English and Math SOLs and the testing that we're going to be doing soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Spring break was a time for students and staff to rest and gear up for the final weeks of school. During the break, some of our coaches provided different camps for students to take part in. Let's take a look at some.
At Booker T. Washington High School, Coach Darren Sanderlin provides a camp that's rooted in the basic elements of basketball.
Just trying to get back to the community a little bit, get the kids something to do over spring break. The ones who don't go out of town or can't afford to go out of town, they come in here and we work on our basketball skills. I like to be able to teach the fundamentals, left hand, right hand, why you do what you do, and then hopefully they'll leave, use their imagination and add on to the fundamentals. That way they got some foundation.
Just like the name of his camp, Coach Sanderlin also teaches things that go beyond the court.
First of all, it's Deeper Than the Game, which I am, the owner of Deeper Than the Game basketball, where I want kids to come in and gain some self-esteem, some confidence, some discipline, being able to listen and follow instructions, so they can not only have it in here, but they can take it also to the classroom.
Over at Lake Taylor High School, young ladies were working on their softball skills, courtesy of Lake Taylor coach Rick Thomas and some of his former players.
We've done a spring break clinic so that all the girls in the Little League and local Little Leagues and some of the JV players could come out and actually use their time to tune up for their season that's in play right now. And it's always been very receptive within the community, so we've tried to do it each year. So this year we've got a good turnout. So we've even got girls from the Eastern Shore, and that's here to learn.
Putting on his 38th clinic, Coach Thomas still hasn't lost his desire to see young ladies succeed, and he does it with tough love.
You got to see the best in what the kids have to offer, and I think a lot of times critiquing young people, sometimes it's not always seen as being the right thing to do, but you have to do it. Otherwise, we enable them, and that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to enable them. We want to create a great adult, not worry about hurting a child's feelings.
Staying at Lake Taylor High School, soccer coach Tommy Carter has students playing what the world calls football.
We're doing a spring break camp, which focuses on technical ability, fundamentals, getting kids firing on all cylinders. What I really want them to take from this camp this week is ball mastery, trying their best to manipulate the ball, increase their gross motor skills, being fluid with the ball. That's like the main goal this week.
With kids ranging from 8 to 16, Coach Carter believes camps like his can unlock some hidden talent.
Norfolk, I think we have loads and loads of talent here in Norfolk, and soccer is looked upon not as a really popular sport. However, I think with the athleticism that we have in our communities, and we start introducing this game younger, at 3, 4, 5 years old, 6 years old, I really do feel that it can spark the interest.
Granby High's gym was loud and spirited as over 100 youngsters were getting coached up by the Granby High cheerleading community with help from the cheerleaders from Bryant and Stratton.
Here today we have our 3rd annual Granby Comet Cheer Skills Clinic, where we're teaching the children the fundamentals of stunting, tumbling, jumping, as well as sideline cheer and competitive cheer.
Festivities included playing games and getting a glimpse about college. This clinic was aimed to help cheerleaders get their basic skills for future endeavors. But there was another goal for this clinic.
The goal of this cheer skills clinic is to change the perception of cheer. It's always a misinterpretation when it comes to what we actually do. We're actually community builders. We're here in the community to help the community along with advancing the sport in itself. You would think that it's just sideline cheer at the games, or hey, they just go out for that 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the mat and cheer. What we're trying to get everyone in our community and outside of our community to understand is that cheerleaders in themselves have to make sure they're cheering one to the crowd, but also leading their sport. Whatever it might be, football, baseball, basketball, we're trying to make and have cheer be a vital part of this district as well as other districts.
Marie High School opened up a brand new weight room. A small ribbon cutting ceremony took place to celebrate the new facility and the partnership that got it done. Coach Parker, tell us how Cam Cares Foundation got involved with this cause.
It was something that a friend of mine brought to my attention, and it was a great idea, and I asked Cam about the idea, and he was all into it, and a couple other guys that went to Marie that played professional football as well, Leroy Reynolds, Vincent Painter. So they thought it'd be great for the school and great for the athletic programs. And Cam Cares is about giving back to the community in Norfolk.
We play in the NJCAA. About 3 years ago, we actually joined forces with Moore High School. We play our home games here, and we partnered with Cam Chancellor and the Moore Foundation to actually do some renovations on the weight room. And it's exciting for Norfolk Public Schools and for Bryan and Stratton College, as it'll be a benefit to Norfolk Public Schools and a benefit to Bryan and Stratton College.
The 400-square-foot room will be used by all students at Marie. This is a great example of not forgetting where you came from.
I think it's important because, this is a part of, my process, the area that made me, the school that made me who I am. Giving back and showing the kids that is the right thing to do, so that when their time comes, they can do the same thing and pay it forward to the kids behind them. It'll be a recycling process.
A new weight room, how are the student athletes feeling about working out in this room?
I think they're very excited, and they can't wait to get back in the weight room because the weight room's been shut down for 4 weeks now. So for them to come in and see the new weight room compared to the first weight room is definitely going to be, they're going to be excited. And to see the pictures on the wall and the sayings is just going to motivate them even more. And we're hoping just to build upon that and just show them that this is what you should be doing as you get older, and hopefully give back to any Norfolk Public School.
Congratulations to Maya Say, the Marie senior who earlier this year won the 5A state hurdle title, signed her letter of intent. She will take her talents to the University of Illinois.
Going into this decision, I thought, based on my career, that academically it was a good school and athletic-wise it was a good school, so therefore I chose Illinois to be my college. I love the campus and I love the coach. My hurdle coach, he's very nice, and he really made me see that I could fit in there. And the head coach also made me feel that way, so it kind of hit home for me when we went.
Plenty of smiles, as this was a proud moment for Maya and her family.
It's a big accomplishment. I believe I might be the first one to go this big, so it's really a big deal. Today is a big, big deal.
More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. We have a very special guest with us here today, and her name is Marie Soulyvic Luzaran, a Lake Taylor Middle School science teacher and Norfolk Public Schools' newest 2017 Teacher of the Year. Welcome to NPS Now.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. I was excited to see you the other day and for you to win, and you being selected as our overall 2017 Teacher of the Year. But first, how do you feel on today?
Well, I feel awesome. It has been a great experience for me to be given this recognition. I feel humbled and honored.
I know you had a lot of family with you that night.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so take me back to that night when you were called up as one of the top 8 and then the top 3. I saw you get emotional at one of those times. What were you thinking?
Well, it's a mixed emotions, basically, and I was just there to, be part of the program, and I did not know really that I'll be the biggest winner of that night. It's amazing. My family is very proud of me, but of course, I'd like to, take this opportunity to say thank you to those people who have believed in me. With first of all, God. God is so good, Karen. He has showered us with all the blessings, and He has given us so many miracles, and this is one of my biggest miracles up to date. And of course, my parents, Marie Vic and Ramon, my husband Rog, and my daughter Tintin. I have very supportive and loving staff and administration at Lake Taylor Middle School, and of course my students. Not without them, this will not be big happening in my life right now.
And all that support is very important.
That's right.
So when you've got those awards, like the top 8, top 3, what did that mean to you?
It really meant a lot, because that would be like the seed of inspiration for my kids and my co-teachers back in at Lake Taylor Middle School. Because if I can do this, so they can, and maybe they can do more,
Right. So what advice after that wonderful evening would you give those classroom teachers about being a Teacher of the Year?
Yeah, being a Teacher of the Year is like a way of life. You know, you come to your classroom prepared. My mantra in life is nothing beats preparation. So I actually do the hard work before the day is over. When I put my right foot into the classroom door the following day, 3/4 of the work has been done the night before that. So it's actually a performance. Every day is like a performance for me. And you give it your best shot every day, you know, to serve the kids and to help them and to guide them to achieve success.
And you're a science teacher here at Lake Taylor Middle. How do you motivate your students to enjoy your classroom instruction?
My teaching strategies actually include a repertoire of different things. We create mnemonic devices, we dance crazy dance steps and songs, we create raps, we do foldables, we do demonstrations, we have experimentations, we do foldables, we also do online games, we also do games, math, we also relate it to reading. That kind of stuff. That's a lot, and the strategies are ever evolving. And every year that we learn new stuff, like Kagan strategies, PBIS, capturing kids' hearts, we apply them, you know, and try if it works for the kids.
How do your students react to this?
They were super happy. They were super proud, and I said, I won because of you guys.
Oh, that was wonderful. So how do they react to some of your classroom instruction? How do they feel motivated?
They are feeling, aside from being proud, they're challenged now that they, you know, definitely they'll be expected to do more. And I told them, you can do it. You know, every single day we are actually working towards our educational goal, which is for you to achieve success, pass your SOL, you know, pass your middle school, go to high school, college, and then end up, you know, having a better life.
What are you most passionate about as being a teacher?
Maybe it's just loving the kids generally. You know, I think it's love that will actually motivate them the most. If they see that you're caring enough, that you genuinely care for them, they'll do what they can to do the best that they can, you know, for your class.
So what do you love the most about being a teacher?
It's a great to hang out with kids, you know, it keeps you young.
I agree.
Yes, and you know, I have only one daughter, so I'd love to have more kids. And I told them, you are my kids.
Oh, wow. They're
And
your babies.
Yeah, they are. They are
like
my
Dr.
kids.
Boone says.
They are my kids.
Right. So tell us about your background. Where'd you go to school and college?
Well, I finished my bachelor's. I finished my bachelor's degree from Philippine Normal University, and then I moved on to take my master's degree in educational management from St. Francis and University of Baguio. And when I came here, I also took some units from Goucher College for my AP exam, physics. And currently I finished my gifted course from College of William and Mary.
So what other school districts did you work in?
I started my teaching career here in the U.S. Way back in 2006 in Baltimore County. So I used to teach physics and chemistry at Randallstown High School.
And so you taught overseas too?
Yes, I did. I had a 5-year experience teaching in a private school. It's a University of Perpetual Help Rizal in Las Piñas City. And also I moved to a public high school, which is the CAA National High School.
And how long have you been here with us at NPS?
Well, it's my 9th year, I think. Yeah,
9th year?
Yes. If not, yeah, 9th year, if not.
Wow, that's exciting. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So, what would you like to do as a representative of our teachers here in Norfolk Public Schools as the Teacher of the Year?
Well, as a representative of Norfolk, I'd like to advocate for inspiration for our new teachers, maybe to help them in their professional development, to becoming, you know, better at their work, at their job, and their craft. And also, we have a friend of mine, or a group of friends of mine, 2 years ago, we started this little activity wherein teachers from different schools in our district volunteer to pull in their effort to teach our students in preparation for the SOL. They actually help us in our station activities during after-school extended time program.
Wow, that's exciting. You've done a lot.
Yes, thank you.
We're so proud of you, and we're so happy to have you as our representative of our 2017 Teachers of the Year. Thank you for coming on the show and giving us some background information about you and why you're so passionate and love teaching here in Norfolk.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.